right, welcome to the Cover 2 podcast by Cooper Sports. I am Wyatt here with Ethan. Ethan, happy to have you here. We are coming up on Christmas. I'm actually making the trek home to Michigan from DC tonight. But I'm excited to be home and not looking forward to the snow because I understand there is a little bit of snow on the ground there. I heard you guys got dumped on last week. But yeah, I'm excited to get home and I'm excited to get in the holiday spirit. And we have a lot of big games ahead of us, and we actually had our first profitable week last week. Me and Ethan both went 3 for 2, so 3 out of 5 at 60%, which is a big accomplishment for us. But yeah, we're excited. Ethan, happy to have you here as always.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me as always. Looking forward to having you back in the great Mitten State here. But yeah, we got about probably 7 inches on the ground right now. It looks like probably 8 inches more tomorrow. And then I don't know if they're saying by Christmas morning, it could be up to 2 feet extra or added on to what we have. So
Yeah,
you might be coming home and not leaving.
I know I'm gonna get forced to snow blow the driveway when I'm home. So
Oh,
not
yeah.
looking forward to that. There's nothing here in DC. It's just cold. I think it's like 30 degrees outside, but yeah, no participation or precipitation out there. But yeah, so to start the show, as you guys remember last week, Ethan took on the one chip challenge. Took it like a champ. I do have my one chip here. Unfortunately, I am driving home today, so I asked if I could move that to another future day because I didn't want to shit my pants in the car. But I did lose the competition this week, so I lost the bet of the Philadelphia Eagles game against the Bears. I'll quickly talk about this one. Very disappointing loss on my end. The Eagles kind of had this one secured. Ended up losing by 5 or winning by 5. I had the Eagles by 9, I believe we started it at. Yeah, really bad late minute or not late minute, but touchdown by the Bears, completely unnecessary. Fields was just scrambling all over the place, and unfortunately could not get that bet to hit. There, we will talk about it in a little bit, but Hurts's status kind of unknown right now. Really big game for the Eagles against the Cowboys, so we have to keep a mind on to see what Hurts's status is. But I knew you were all over the Bears. Hopefully you took the Bears spread because that hit. But congratulations on your win, and I will give it off to you in a second. But we do have a challenge, and since I'm not doing the chip, I am doing per Twitter. We did get a fan recommendation to do, I believe it's called a shoey. So I got my shoe here, I got my beer here, and then basically I think you just pour the beer in and you just chug a beer with your nice foot sweat and dirt. I think there's some hair in here. But yeah, Ethan, I'll give it off to you real quick. What are your thoughts about that game? You're probably happy to win the competition. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, pretty well documented that chip basically took me out of commission for the next 24 hours last week. So, not that I was going to do the chip again this week had I lost, but glad to have the week off of the punishment. I was on the Bears. I loved the Bears quite a bit last week. So, kind of like you said, it was kind of a backdoor cover there. Didn't really mean much, but obviously to us it meant something. So, yeah, I was happy with that result. Yeah, good luck with that shoey. Never
Yeah,
done
thank
one
you.
before.
And
Kind of interested to see it.
yeah, I've seen it like at sports games. We were actually at the Waste Management Open last year, and
Oh
literally
yeah.
everyone was doing it in like 9-degree Phoenix sun. But I think if you're like already drunk, it's not that gross. I'm dead sober right now, so it's gonna be a little, having some weird stuff in your beer is not great. But please give us recommendations on punishments for the upcoming weeks because we are running out of ideas. I do, as I said, have this chip, which will be another good punishment in case I lose again. But please give us ideas on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, because we are desperate. And if it's something that we can do on the show, we will most likely do it. So,
Right.
yeah, I'll start. Hopefully this holds. I do have a towel on my lap in case I get little stuff everywhere. But this is it's 16-ounce beer. So hopefully I get a little buzz during this show. And we are not sponsored by a beer, so if you want to sponsor us, please, we need the money. But yeah, here we go.
All righty.
Oh,
Do you plan to wear this shoe again?
I
Once you're
plan on
done?
putting it in the washer as soon as we're done with this.
Okay.
So a whole cup's in there. This might get a little messy here. I don't know if you can see on the inside. Oh yeah, you can
Yeah,
see it
just a
moving
little
around
bit
a little
there.
bit.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Nicely done.
Really spill the beginning. Oh, the lip completely collapsed on me here. So unfortunately, I spilled a little bit. So it was probably just a 12-ounce beer. Since that 4 ounces was spilled at the beginning, but oh, that's pretty gross. It's pretty dark in the inside of the shoe here. Um, I don't know if you're gonna be able to. Actually, it's not that bad.
Oh my
It's pretty
God.
yellow. I think that's sweat coming off, but it tastes like beer. It tasted like a normal beer. Oh my God, that's. Fortunately, I had the towel on my lap.
You
But
get any
yes,
hair in
please.
there?
What's up?
You got any hair in there?
I didn't get anything on my tongue. Um, I'm not seeing any hair, and honestly, it was a pretty clean pour here. I think the sole on the inside really kept the dirt out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From my vantage point, it looks like you could throw that shoe on right now and walk around in it. Looked pretty good.
yeah, it's not bad. A little on the heel here.
Yep. It
Good
was a
quality
quick
shoe. I
chug,
think
I'll
I got
give you
this for like
that.
19 bucks, but
Nice.
yeah,
Works
please.
as a
That was
shoe and
not
a
as hard of a
mug.
challenge as I was thinking it was going to be. I still feel bad. I still owe Ethan the chip. So I do have the chip. We will have a challenge. If I do lose this next challenge, I will eat the chip. That's a worst bets guarantee right there. So
Love it.
yes, please give us recommendations. We're desperate for ideas. Um, if I start slurring, I didn't eat any lunch today, so I am on an empty stomach. So this will probably be our best show ever.
Yeah, no kidding. I might need to grab myself a beer. Jeez.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's Christmas break after today, you know.
It is.
All right. So again, we have without a whole lot of bowl games and with Christmas coming up, we do have an interesting NFL schedule. Also, we will quickly mention our schedule. So obviously, this week we're going to have our normal show, and we usually post that out in different segments. So we'll have our Thursday night preview. We have a pretty much a full slate Saturday, and there are 3 games on Christmas we'll talk about, and then we'll have that Monday night football game. But for next week, just because of the holidays and traveling, we're going to do a quick show. Probably not any recaps, but just the upcoming games, the games we like. We'll give our bets and predictions on that one. So that's just to look ahead at what we got going during the holiday break. All right, moving on, we have our recap of, in my opinion, was the most exciting 1 p.m. slate in NFL this year. All 6 games were decided by a touchdown. We had 2 overtime games. We had multiple field goal winning games. Just a crazy day on Sunday. But first of all, we'll recap the biggest game of the weekend, and that was the Colts versus the Vikings. As we just touched on, the Vikings win this one 39-36 in OT. The biggest story, though, the Vikings were down 33-0 at half. Ended up winning, which turned out to be that 33 points turned out to be the biggest point differential to overcome in a NFL game in history. So it's funny because now Matt Ryan is a part of the biggest Super Bowl blown lead, and now the part of the biggest regular season blown lead in NFL history. So poor guy. Like I honestly think he's a pretty solid quarterback. I doubt he's going to make the Hall of Fame, but solid quarterback, really long year, a lot of success. But he will always be remembered for that Super Bowl loss to the Patriots and then this loss to the Vikings. And that's not a really great thing to be remembered by. But yeah, as you said, this game is crazy. Colts had all the momentum in the first half. All of a sudden, that got completely switched at halftime. Vikings just kept scoring and scoring. Colts kept going 3 and out, 3 and out. And before you knew it, you're going overtime. And then at that point, Vikings had all the momentum, and it was not a shocker that they won in OT. What are your thoughts on this game and Matt Ryan?
Yeah, so first of all, you just reminded me, so I just want to say this going back to the game we just talked about, Indy LA. I just saw right before we started filming that Colts are going with Nick Foles at quarterback this week and not Matt
Boom.
Ryan. So I do like that quite a bit too. Um, But as for this game, I also just saw on social media, and I did not fact check this at all, but I saw that Matt Ryan also has the biggest international blown lead in the history. I don't know if it was one of those Germany or wherever London games, and also the biggest NFC championship blown lead ever. So
Poor guy, man.
yeah, just yeah, not good. But yeah, this game was insane. I had well, did you have Indy +4? I think we both
Yes.
did, right?
Yeah, we both
Yeah,
did.
so I was about to quit my job. I was about to quit gambling. Maybe quit my entire life. I don't know if Indy somehow gave up a touchdown in overtime to not cover that spread. I was driving most of the first quarter, first half. I got over to the east side and looked at my phone. It was 17-0. I was like, oh man, this is beautiful. And then started watching, just score kept going up. Didn't think I'd have to sweat at all. And then turns out to be one of the biggest sweats of the week with a +4. So glad Indy was able to get there. But like you said, Indy just could not get a first down. They looked completely incompetent on offense. Their defense wasn't much better. They just looked gassed the entire second half. It got to 33-14, and I started feeling like, oh, we're in some trouble here. This +4 might not hit. So crazy game. Maybe the craziest, well, maybe up until Sunday, the craziest football game I'd ever seen in my life. So I was happy to get the money on Indy, but yeah, what a comeback for Minnesota.
I did forget to mention this was my under of the weekend. The game ended with what is that? 75 points. So yeah, so that was a horrible call by me. I was thinking, when it was like 17-0, 33-0 at half, I was thinking, maybe I have a shot. Maybe I can just shut them out, win like 40-0 or whatever. Nope, not even close. So that was by far the worst play of the weekend that I gave out last week. So I apologize for that. Moving on, I believe all these games are Sunday games now for our recap. Dallas at Jacksonville, or I believe it was at Jacksonville. Dallas went up big in this game. I thought they were up 27-10, I believe, with 3 minutes left in this game, or 3 minutes left in the third. Jacksonville came storming back. I think they got a turnover in there, and then a couple big plays. A couple of touchdowns later, you find yourself in OT. Tied 34-34, and now Dallas is really looking down the barrel of the gun in this one. And just like that Minnesota game, whatever team it seems like goes into OT with momentum usually comes out the win. Jacksonville ended up scooping. Was it a pick or was it a fumble? I don't remember on that one.
Pick six.
It was a pick six, so they got that pick six in OT, brought it back to the house, win the game 40-34. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, again, had Jags +4, so I was kind of happy with the comeback. Like we touched on in the early goings of the show, though, needed Dallas to win the game outright. So was upset that Jacksonville was able to tie it with a late field goal to send it to OT. And then Dallas was, I think, just outside of field goal range when they threw that interception. So, and Jacksonville had already had a possession, so all they needed was a field goal to win that game by 3. Would have gotten the money. Would have had another Dallas win. Would have given you another Jags loss, which would have helped all of us. But yeah, like you said, the team with momentum somehow they just went in there, made a good play, and got the outright win. So good game, but
Yeah, it was a good game. It was very exciting for a game that did not look like it was going to end up like that. Kind of a similar story. We had Detroit against the Jets. I remember on the show last week, I was thinking the Jets. I was going to take the Jets. I last second took the Lions. I ended up going over to Maryland. Maryland just opened up sports betting, so I went over there to see a buddy. I had to take advantage of the promo offer, so I put my promo offer on the Lions money line. Thankfully, they won, but yeah, that was a crazy game. I'll quickly touch on it. Lions looked very bad offensively. Their only touchdown before their game winner was a punt return touchdown, which that's tough to do. Respect their special teams game, but offensively they looked really bad. They didn't throw to Sauce Gardner once, I believe. I think that's the stat. They didn't, or Goff didn't attempt to even throw Sauce Gardner's way, which is just a really big compliment to the kid. I believe he's a rookie, so turns out to be one of the best corners in the league. Really good for the Jets moving forward. But Lions, 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, ended up throwing a 60-yard bomb or 50-yard bomb to their tight end. I thought that was going to be the game. I thought Lions were going to lose right there. Ended up making a great play. But of course, the Lions always keep it interesting. The Jets, threw a ridiculous 4th and 16 pass that with 10 seconds left. The guy ends up catching it, gets the first down. He's running around. It looks like it's borderline time expires. They end up putting 1 second back on for a 58-yard field goal. And thank God that Zerline misses that one. But exciting game. I know you're on the Jets, so a tough one there. But the Lions, as I said, they're really good at keeping our playoff hopes alive. They now move into, I believe, tied for that final spot. I don't know how the tiebreaker works, but looks like they're tied for that final wild card spot with Seattle. Actually, no. Yeah, with Seattle, it looks like. So that'll be interesting. And the Lions have a very winnable game upcoming this week. So the Lions keep doing what they do best and keeping things interesting, keeping things never easy. But they've won 3 in a row. I think they're now 6 of their last 7. It's pretty crazy what they're doing.
Yeah, I wasn't that upset that the Jets bet that I had didn't get there. I was kind of more happy Detroit won to keep the playoff hopes alive. And yeah, I mean, kind of like you said, we didn't look too good all game. The thing I was really impressed by though was Detroit's run defense in this game. The Jets just could not get anything going on the ground. Obviously, they were using Zonovan Knight, I think, a rookie. They don't have Brees Hall, and Michael Carter wasn't too involved, but still, he tore up the last couple teams that he had faced. So I was pretty impressed with Detroit bottling him up. But yeah, kind of a crazy game. I thought the same thing, that 4th down when we were passing. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is it. But yeah, got that tight end in the flat and had green grass to work with, scored, and that field goal at the end was never close, which was nice. So yeah, happy Detroit got the win. I'll probably have to give out Carolina this week because I think I might have jinxed the Jets by giving them out. So I'll just keep going against Detroit if that's what it takes to get them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I respect that. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I will say, whoever's calling the offense is doing a better job on those pressure situations. The last couple of years, Lions, when it comes to those important 4th down, 3rd down plays, it kind of just seems like we're completely clueless, calling the wrong stuff. And I know it's really hard to call plays in such high pressured situations, but I think we're doing a much better job on these last couple of games. That was honestly a great play call. 4th and 1 is really easy just to run it up the gut. That play action pass, tight end Hyde, ended up really working out for them. And then again, yeah, it scored them the game winning touchdown. So I was really impressed with their play calling because I've been criticizing that for a long time. Even earlier this year, I was really criticizing like what we're doing offensively. So it's happy to see them look more like an intelligent football team, which is funny to say with Detroit because that's never what we are.
Right.
Speaking about lack of intelligence, the Patriots Raiders game, the weirdest ending I've ever seen in my life. By far the most crazy thing. Maybe like a Division II, Division III college game probably ended like this, but you don't see this ending in a professional sports game, especially coached by Bill Belichick and the Patriots. If you weren't aware how this game ended, so the game's tied 24-24. So you can just take a knee, go to OT. The Pats, for whatever reason, and I have no idea what the conversation was, decided to go those lateral plays, when you're like down a point, so you need to score a touchdown. They do one of these things, start throwing the ball all over the field backwards for no reason. They could just go out of bounds and just take your loss and go to OT. However, they don't. And Jacoby Myers, I believe it's Jacoby, launches one back towards Mac Jones, like 50 yards across the field. The Raiders defensive lineman picks it off, if you want to call it a pick. Stiff arms Mac Jones, walks into the end zone as time expires to win this game 30-24. Again, it was a play that was never necessary. We've seen this when a team's down by 4, they need to score. They start doing all these laterals. You see a team pick up the fumble and recover it, whatever. Like you're going to lose the game. This one was tied. I don't understand what was going on. Just by far the craziest ending, and I would pay to listen to what Belichick said to that team afterwards because he was probably scared the living hell out of them, or he's just said maybe it was his play call. I don't know. It was What's your thought on that one? That was the craziest play I've seen in my life.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this one. I'll try to keep it short. Kind of nice. I believe it was Matt Patricia's play call. So imagine that.
Oh,
Um,
really?
I believe so. Um,
That makes it even
I
better.
mean, we should have expected it, but the whole thing was weird because yeah, there was like 3 seconds left. I think they were on just on the other side of the 50-yard line. They do a handoff, so it's like it was just weird. They weren't really trying to win there, but they weren't taking a knee. So yeah, I don't understand the play call. It looked like the Jets weren't even trying to tackle, or the Raiders weren't even trying to tackle them. A lot of like just weird open space to run and a couple of weird missed tackles. Actually, Chandler Jones was the first guy to miss the tackle, so it's the best missed tackle he's ever had in his life. Um, and then yeah, like you said, that just I don't know if they forgot they were tied or what was going on there. Um, but yeah, just a horrible play. Um, Good play by Chandler Jones. I mean, Mac Jones had a chance to make the tackle there and he just buried him in the ground. Um, yeah, I was in the middle of kind of feeling sorry for myself about the way the Bucks Bengals game ended, being on the Bucks side. And then I saw that play and I was like, okay, there's people out there hurting a lot worse than I am right now. So yeah, just yeah, that's Matt Patricia for you, I guess.
Yeah, it's just, you maybe would like that's something Detroit would probably do. Just back when they aren't very well coached, not extremely smart. This is never something you see a Patriots team do. Probably the
No.
best coach in the history of the sport, and then just a knucklehead play calling. So I hope that was Patricia because that would just be hilarious. Belichick probably even fired him on the spot, knowing Bill. So that would be hilarious if that actually happened. We had the Sunday night game. I honestly didn't watch this one much. I was keeping track on my phone, but they did win. My Giants did upset the Commanders 20-12. That was my first ever underdog bet that won this year in our betting scheme. So I was happy with that win. When I didn't know it when it happened. I didn't see it until Monday morning. The final play or the final whatever minute of the game where um, what's his face? Brian Robinson, who I needed to score. I did bet Brian Robinson. I needed him to score a touchdown. He ends up scoring on this goal line play to tie the game up. They call a flag for illegal formation. And if you zoom in and you can see the interaction between who was it?
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, Terry and the ref. Terry's asking if he's on. Usually as a wide receiver, you just look over the ref, put your arm out and say on. He'll either say scooch up or he usually just doesn't say anything. He just gives you a thumbs up or whatever. So Terry asked him twice. The ref never does anything. As soon as the play call starts, throws a flag. So total bush league by the ref. I really have a vendetta against refs. I got multiple 15-yard penalties back in my playing days for screaming at the refs just because I think they're always out to get me. And now in the betting world, it seems like they're always out to ruin my bet. So I just don't have a thing for refs, but that was ridiculous. And I was happy the Giants won, but I hate winning on that because that was just a Bush League play. And I don't think either team's probably very happy with the outcome of that because that's just not how you want to win a game or how you want to lose, definitely.
Yeah, kind of like you. I was traveling a little bit at the end of this game, so I also missed that play live. Missed that one, and then allegedly there was a little bit of contact on the last because I think that was third down. They still had a fourth down
Yeah.
try at it through a pass to the end zone, and the guy was kind of getting bear hugged. Um, by the time the ball was there, it was a little bit more clean, but yeah, just kind of another missed call there, a little bit fishy. People are calling for the NFL. That's rigged, blah 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 blah. So yeah, I don't know. I think that was a big win for Detroit though. I think the Giants have a tougher schedule and a worse team ultimately, so I
Yep.
think they have a better shot of missing the playoffs than the Commanders do. So I think that was a big win for us. I'm bummed because I liked on the show last week. I liked the Giants plus 4.5, and I liked the under. Didn't end up taking either of them because I was still butthurt about the Buccaneers. So left some money on the table there, but yeah, I mean, big game for Detroit, I think, in that Sunday night game.
Yeah, that did work out well. I forgot to mention that the NFC playoff implications on that game. Both those teams are still looks like they're still in the playoffs because of that weird tie that they have. But this was huge for Detroit. Well, either whatever happened for those teams, it would have been fine because they were
Mhm.
tied exact same record. Um, but yeah, still good. I do agree. I think the Giants are the lesser of the two teams. So it's better of them to keep winning, and possibly they can, now this them being the worst team out of the two, they might pick up another L on the regular season, which would also help the Lions out. So quickly before we get into Saturday's slate, we have 5 games we want to quickly talk through on Saturday, but just the NFC playoff situation, I'll quickly talk about it right now because it's getting interesting, and I think it's much closer than the AFC is. So as it states right now, the four divisional leaders are Eagles, 49ers, Vikings, and Bucks. So all four of those teams get an automatic bid. Then from there, we have 3 wild cards. So as it stands right now, it is Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders. So the Cowboys are 100% in, I think. I don't think they can get knocked out. Giants are 8-5-1. Commanders are 7-6-1. Seattle and Detroit both stand at 7-7. So they're a half a game back from the Commanders because of that tie. So there's a lot of different scenarios. If you just look at Twitter and type in Lions playoff scenarios, there's going to be a list of so many Lions fans that have nothing else to do with their day than come up with these scenarios. But it's looking like Lions have a very solid shot at getting in before week 18. So there's obviously a couple things have to happen. We have to win those 2 games, but we do need a couple teams to lose. But that would be nice to secure that wild card spot before we have to play a Green Bay team. And it's
Yep.
looking like that's going to be not likely, but there's an ability for that to happen. So yeah, Lions again, they do this every year. If they make the playoffs, great. They'll probably lose because they haven't won, I think, since Barry Sanders in the playoffs. But yeah, this would be very unexpected from a team that started off 1-6. Do you have anything to add in the wild card chase on either conference?
Yeah, I'll just touch on the NFC. Yeah, so Dallas is clinched. They have locked up their spot. So it really does come down to more than likely Detroit, Seattle, New York Giants, and Washington. Couple NFC South teams could squeak up there with the Panthers, Saints, or Falcons, or I guess the Bucks if they don't end up winning that division. But don't think they'll come much into play. But I think Detroit has the most advantageous scheduling spot at least for this week. I believe Seattle's like a 9.5 point dog. Washington's 4 point dog. The Giants are a 4 point dog, and then Washington 7 point
7
dog, I
point.
believe.
Yep.
So um hopefully they all lose. Detroit gets the win, and then Detroit's gonna control their own destiny there. So yeah, this is probably the biggest week remaining, I'd say.
Yep. And sorry if you're not a huge Lions fan. Obviously, you can see Ethan is. I am born and raised Lions fan, so we got to talk about our Lions when we can. So bear with us here. It's an exciting time for us because we usually don't get to experience this very often. So
We're typically
thank
talking about who we're going to take with the third overall pick at this
yes,
point in the year,
yeah,
which we
I would
still can this year. But
right, yeah, have the Rams keep losing. So
yeah,
um,
hey, I got a question for you.
yep,
Did you get a head buzz at all from that shoey?
I
How
did at
you
the
feeling?
beginning. Yeah, there's definitely like there's definitely like a hair in the back of my throat right now that I can taste or the back of my tongue, and I really don't want to go digging for it, but there's definitely something back there. Yeah, I did get a little tipsy for a second there. I think that's just the empty stomach.
Right.
But I think I'm back to normal now.
Yeah.
Definitely will, wash out my mouth because I can taste that hair and it's pissing me off. All right, so because of Christmas Day, we have a full slate on Saturday, which is a little bit different, but that just makes Saturday such a really good day. It is Christmas Eve, so most likely you're probably going to be with friends and family, but what better way than to watch, hopefully, Red Zone. They have to have Red Zone on. Yeah, hopefully Red Zone's on Saturday. So we have 5 games. We quickly want to preview, and then we'll get into our bets for the weekend. So that first game, again, we're still in Detroit. So Detroit plays Carolina. You said Detroit's probably in the best spot here. What are your thoughts on this one? I think it's Detroit's a 2.5 point favorite on the road. Over under is 43.5. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think it moved to 3 right before we started
Okay.
filming. Um I am just nervous. Every time we talk about the Lions, it's going to basically be the same spiel from me from here on out. But I am nervous on the road, even though they've won three straight on the road. I still Goff is just not quite as good as he is at home. Um, this is Carolina's last home game, so I don't know if that gives them any added motivation. But they also, like we mentioned, they're in that tight NFC South division. Lot to play for them and for us. Um, so I don't know. It's tough for me to lay points on the road with Detroit. We both Carolina and Detroit have two divisional games remaining after this. So a lot of decent football remaining on the calendar for each team. It's basically going to come down to Detroit's offense against Carolina's defense. That's, I think, the strength of both of our teams. Although Detroit, I just saw in our 6-1, the last 7 weeks that we've gone 6-1, we're only allowing like 19.9 points a game, and we were allowing 32.2, I
Yeah.
want to say, in the first 7 weeks. So defense is really clamping down. Um, but yeah, one last thing that just kind of worries me about this is Detroit's getting 88% of the bets, but only 50% of the handle. So I think sharps are kind of coming in on Carolina. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit does win this game still, but maybe it's by that three, maybe it's by a point or two. Um, for the show, I will not be betting this game because I don't want the same thing to happen like it did last week. I'm going to give out Carolina +3. I think you got to take the better defense, quote unquote, um, at home in their last game. They still have a lot to play for. This is definitely a must win for Carolina. And then I would definitely take the under. I don't think I would touch an over confidently on a road game for Detroit. And Carolina's not putting up points in bunches and have a decent defense. So I like the under quite a bit. I probably will be on that. Um, Probably won't touch the side. I'll just be rooting hard for Detroit.
Yeah, I had my bet last week against Detroit or with for Detroit. That was my first one of the year because I just can't bet on this team. So I think I'm going to stay away from the side just like you are. I do like the under with you. Um, Carolina is a little bit better offensively now with Sam Darnold back, but again, Detroit's playing a little bit better defensively as you mentioned, and offensively, I think Detroit's kind of fallen off a little bit from the beginning of the season. Yes, they went 1-6 to start the season, but they were scoring like 28 points a game. So they were at one point the highest scoring offense in the league. But that's kind of disappeared a little bit. I don't know if teams have caught on or just injuries and whatnot, but I do like the under in this. I have a feeling Detroit's going to win by like 1 point. So I think Carolina probably is going to cover. Um, so I do like that Carolina play. But I'm not going to bet that side just because I'm full blown back to Detroit fan. So got to root for them. And just like Michigan, I don't bet on Michigan games. I'll only touch the over under. So I'm going to go under on this. I think 43.5 is just too much for two very mediocre offenses. And Carolina, as you said, solid defense. Detroit's defense is not great, but playing up to the task these last couple of weeks. So I think the under in this one is a pretty fair bet. Um, Moving on, I have the frauds of the Giants versus the frauds of the Vikings playing each other in a weird game. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to touch this game betting. I don't like either team. I think either team can play completely different based on what day of the week it is. So I'm not going to touch this game right now. It's looking like the Vikings are a 3.5 point favorite. Over under is 47.5. If I was forced to pick a bet for this one, I would take the under, but that screwed me last week with Minnesota. I just don't think the Giants are really going to be a high scoring team that will take advantage of the Vikings' terrible defense. So if I had to choose with a gun to my head, I would take the under, but I'm not going to bet this game.
Yeah, so I'll keep this one pretty quick because I like the Giants for many reasons. I like the Giants and the under actually for many reasons that I've kind of touched on with other teams, mainly being Indianapolis. So on the flip side of Indianapolis, why I like them so much is that game against Minnesota, which is now why I don't like Minnesota. The last thing the public saw was Minnesota putting up 39 second half points in that great comeback. Everyone's going to want to rush and go bet the Vikings. Um, and then on the flip side, they saw New York probably get away with a win there that maybe they shouldn't have had, or at least maybe it should have gone to overtime. So they might be staying away from New York there. Um, So I think there probably is value on New York here. New York also has more to play for. Minnesota did clinch the NFC North with that win, with that comeback win. Um, and like we've kind of said the last couple of weeks, they're probably not going to get the 1 seed in the NFC. So kind of in limbo for the rest of the year. New York, obviously, we just touched on their playoff chances and hopes. So I think New York has more to play for. I think the public is going to be all over Minnesota. So I think you can wait. I think it actually did already move up to +4. Probably
Okay.
gets to +4.5, +5. So I think you can wait if you like New York. If you like Minnesota, I'd probably get in sooner rather than later. Um, and then I like the under as well because same reason I like the under in the Colts game. They just saw 75 points put up and just an offensive onslaught in that second half. So probably value on the under. But yeah.
Okay. I like that. Better reasoning than mine. Um, Another game we have the Commanders versus the 49ers. 49ers are sitting at a 7-point favorite. Over under is set at 39. There's one quote from Rivera that's really thrown me off of this game for the Commanders. I really like the Commanders initially, but now Rivera's coming out saying he's still planning on starting Heineke. If things go wrong, we're going to throw someone else in. That 100% threw me off the Commanders because this is now, you're now, what are they? They won their last, 5 of 7 games with Taylor Heineke. He's done great. You're going to punish him after a bad loss, or not even a bad loss last week to the Giants. They probably could have gone OT in that game, a couple bad calls. Now you're going to punish him. If you really wanted to get his back, you would say, we're going to stick with them. An unfortunate game last week. He's done great for us these last couple weeks. We're going to ride with them. But now he's just like, we're going to go until, if something bad happens, we'll throw someone else in there. So the fact that he's not backing up his quarterback right now makes me just want to hammer San Francisco. So I'm going to. That 7 still a little scary for me. But I'd said earlier I like the Bucks money line on Christmas Day, and I want to parlay that with San Francisco money line for just a small little 2-teamer that should get right around plus money. And I think that's a pretty solid play. I don't think there's any trouble for Tampa to win outright. And then just based off of Rivera just not handling the press right, I like San Francisco to win this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I also have that written down that there's questions surrounding Taylor Heineke for, like you said, not really a good reason in my opinion. Um, and the spot just favors San Fran. I mean, they're coming off the Thursday night game. They have added rest. Washington had the Sunday night game, so just a little bit of a shorter week. Plus, they were extremely focused on New York. They needed that win, or felt like they needed that win. Um, so just a bad spot for Washington. Don't know how Heineke is gonna come out and play based on what Rivera said. So I probably won't touch this game. Um, yeah, just kind of weird. Oh, I just don't know. Part of me wants to take Washington, part of me wants to take San Fran. So yeah, I won't touch it. I lean under. Both teams have top 10 defenses. I think Chase Young is back now. So that helps Washington as well. Um, and then their offensive stats are actually pretty similar this year, believe it or not. So as far as yards per game and rush yards per game, pass yards per game. So I don't know. I probably won't touch this game at all. But if he didn't say that about Heineke, I'd probably lean towards Washington plus the points, but that does kind of worry me.
Yeah, I think Washington plus the points again before that statement was a secure spot. Washington again very good last couple weeks. Taylor Heineke's been great. Even when they lose, seems like they're always close. They're covering games. So just 7 points in a team against a team that already clinched their division. I think that's just too much for to give. But I think San Fran is. I think they're going to play a lot of guys. Purdy still is probably going to be their quarterback in the playoffs until I heard Jimmy G possibly coming back very late. So they're going to give Purdy as much experience as he can, which just it's to me it's just screaming 49ers are going to win this one, hopefully by a couple touchdowns. But yeah, it's one of those trap lines because I think Washington plus 7 is a very, very smart play. But the reason that I'm not doing that is because that's what I think everyone's on. So I'm going to
Right.
lean San Fran. I am taking the money line up with the Bucks for a little two-teamer. The most exciting game originally, it's still probably the most exciting game of the weekend. Eagles at Dallas. These are the two. Eagles are the leader of the NFC as well as the NFC East. Cowboys are the third best, tied for the third best record in the NFC, and the second best NFC East team. So we got a divisional game, also a game of the top three teams in the league. So the problem with this is Hurts. I'll let you take this away, but we did have different stories on Hurts. So it's looking like it's just a shoulder sprain. If you watch the actual injury, it's screaming collarbone. I think they have to disclose injuries. So if it was a broken collarbone, I think they have to legally say it is. So to me, it's saying it's just a shoulder sprain, but it does look like it's on his right throwing arm. Everyone's saying it's his left shoulder. That injury, he lands on his right shoulder. It's 100% his right shoulder. So I don't know what debate is on that. Also, it's looking like they're not ruling him out for the game either, which I don't understand, because why would you play him? I understand it's a really big game, but you have, I think, clinched number one spot, and maybe not yet, but I just don't see a reason for him to play, which is unfortunate for the matchup. But yeah, it's weird that they're keeping that just really under the rug. I know you had a countdown on Twitter, so I'll let you take this away. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely loved Dallas for the last 2 months or so in this game. Was really hoping Hurts was going to play. Um, I luckily did get one unit down on Dallas money line at -110, like last Friday or something like that before the injury. So I do have a little action on it, but I was looking to go 5 units probably on this. So was going to have a lot more action. But yeah, the Hurts thing just kind of blew it all up. I agree with you. I think it's shoulder sprain. It sounds like he's only going to miss this week, if that. So, like you said, I don't know why they wouldn't just sit him, because they can still have him come back healthier and clinch the 1 seed in the next 2 weeks. So, would not make sense for him to play, in my opinion. Um, I guess the one silver lining on this is I did make my fantasy football championship for my biggest money league that I'm in, and my opponent does have Jalen Hurts as his quarterback.
Nice.
So yeah, I feel better about that. But for betting's sake and just for as a football fan, I do wish he was playing in this game. Um, but yeah, with the line being what it is, I think it's 4.5, 5 right now. I I actually might lean Philly if Minshew plays. Um, I don't know if I'll get there. Like I said, I already have a unit on Dallas money line -110. So I'll probably just stick with that, root for that. It is a revenge game for Dallas. It's their last home game. And it's their only shot of winning that division. So I think they'll come ready to play. Both teams have top 3 defenses in the NFL, which I think is going to help with the divisional game, the rematch. I think that gives defenses the edge over the offense. So I do look for this game to stay under the total of 46 and a half. That would probably be my most confident now at this point with the Hurts injury. And then obviously you're losing Hurts, you're losing a huge playmaker in that offense. So that kind of leans under as well. Um, so yeah, I don't really know what to do with the spread right now until there's more concrete you know, information about what's going to happen for this game, but I would lean under 46 for sure.
Okay. I don't have any bets on this yet. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I do love betting a team without their starter, just because a line, I think it's drastically overshot sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Hurts is a great guy, MVP candidate. Has 100% helped Philly this year, but is he worth, 5 points? It was, I don't know what the original line was. As you said, they look like they were like, if you got Dallas at +110, it seems like it was a -1 or -1.5 in favor of Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So is Hurts really worth a touchdown? I'm not sure. I know Minshew's having a little injury problems. He's gonna play because I think he has to, but I love betting that spot where they give the quarterback being out too many points, because you never
Yep.
really know how to judge that. So I do like Philly +5. I am going to disagree with you a little bit here. I am going to go the over on this. Um, as we said, Dallas has a great D. Philly has a great D. But if you look at Dallas's D the last couple of weeks, they've given up a lot of points. And offensively, both teams are, as we all know, great. Probably the top five best offenses in the league, in my opinion. Especially Dallas. I think Dallas's offense is better than Philly's.
Mhm.
But I think both teams are going to score quite a bit. Over under is at 46. I could see this being a shootout. I can see this being, 28-32 type of game, possibly in favor of Dallas there. Yeah, I think it's going to be a higher scoring. I am very excited for this game. I think this is the biggest game. Even without Hurts, I think this is the most exciting game on the Saturday slate.
Mhm.
I hope for Philly's sake that Hurts doesn't play because there's really no reason for him to. So I hope they rest him and just be smart, but I don't know if that's going to be an option for a huge rivalry in this game. So more to come on that with the storylines, the injury reports. So just keep your head out for all that stuff and all that news before laying a substantial amount of money on that game. Our
Yeah.
last game that we go ahead, sorry.
Um, just wanted to touch on too. I'm worried that my 30-1 ticket Jalen Hurts MVP is shot because of that as well, which kind of sucks. But who knows? I mean, if he only misses a game, Mahomes could, throw a pick or two and
Right.
Hurts could come back. It's still alive, but that also does kind of suck. And I am a huge proponent of that playing on the team that loses their quarterback in that first game. Completely agree. Um, they gave way too much points for Minshew or Hurts to Minshew. So
Yeah.
um, I do like that quite a bit.
Uh sorry, before we get on to the last game, I'll add one more thing in regards to futures. We'll just throw the futures in right now. One of my buddies came up with this really good bet. So it's most touchdown scores or most passing touchdowns on the season. Currently, right now, Mahomes has the most by 5. Joe Burrow is 5 touchdowns behind Mahomes, and Burrow to get the title for most passing touchdowns this year is plus 1,000. So he took Burrow to passing touchdowns just because of the Chiefs. Their last couple games looking very, very not tough at all. They pretty much have secured their spot. They still are fighting for that number 1 seed, so he is still going to play at least the next 2 weeks. But you could possibly get a situation where he sits. If that's the case, Joe Burrow can throw 5 touchdowns in a game easily. So it's just an interesting bet that he made that I didn't even think about. But it's pretty good value if you're banking on Mahomes to rest a little bit or win these next couple of games pretty easily. So it's something to
Yeah.
think about. I haven't put any money on it. I'm not going to because I'm just not risky enough for that. But it was interesting. It's definitely an interesting story to keep in mind. But yeah, Joe Burrow is a man. I love Joe. He's still going to be fighting. He's battling right now with the Ravens for the top spot in the North. So I don't think he's going to be in a situation where he sits at all.
Right.
So it could very well happen. Again, it's really hard to bet against Mahomes just because it's Mahomes and he is 5 touchdowns ahead currently. But an interesting story to keep in mind.
Yeah.
That last game we have on our Saturday slate, we have the Raiders against the Steelers. I think you wrote this one down. What's your reasoning for this game? Because on paper, it's not looking great.
No, yeah. So and actually I mostly wrote it down because it was a Sunday night game and
Okay.
it's the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. And then that just got more interesting today because I don't know if you saw, but Franco Harris passed away this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of weird timing of that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton to say about it. I do like Vegas plus 8.5 in that teaser with the Rams plus eight and a
Yeah.
half. Um, both have really low totals, which is advantageous for that. I kind of like the Raiders plus 2.5 as is, and I don't hate their money line either. However, the Franco Harris thing, like, I don't know, the team could rally over that. I don't know how active he was in the organization or anything. If he wasn't very active lately, then maybe it doesn't mean too much to him, but just kind of an interesting storyline that's happening there. Um, but yeah, Las Vegas, they've had the better offense and defense in their last 3. They're actually 6th in yards per play on the road this season. Um, So I just think they're the better team. They have more to play for. Pittsburgh still has two divisional games on deck, so I think they're going to want to try to maybe blow up the AFC North a little bit there.
Okay.
So yeah, I like Vegas. I think taking them plus 8.5 is a no brainer there.
Yeah, I
Um,
just wrote that one down. I love that.
yeah, and then I kind of touched on this I think a week or two ago, but just extremely weird that Vegas on the road this year does not have a win in regulation, which is a little bit nerve wracking. There are 0-6-2 with those two overtime wins on the road. I don't know. I just think that's a kind of an interesting stat about the Raiders.
Yeah, that is weird. And I don't know how I feel about the Raiders. They're not dead. Um, they're at 6-8. They're a couple games behind. Looks like 3 games behind. So they're probably dead.
Yeah.
Um, but again, they have so much firepower. I don't know what happened. I mean, they just can't finish any games. Not really good under pressure. For as much as we shit on the Vikings, they know how to finish those one touchdown games. Um, and a lot of that's luck, but it's also execution. So
Hmm.
I think the Raiders are lacking that end game experience or the ability to finish a game, whereas the Vikings, very well could be a 3-win team right now if things at the end of the game didn't go their way. But somehow they get there, and again, there's some luck in that, but I think that's more execution, and the Raiders just don't have that. But I do love Raiders. What did you tease that with, the 8.5 with the
Uh,
Rams?
yep, I did the Rams.
Okay, cool. I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna lock that one in.
Yeah.
That won't be bad at all. All righty. Do you have anything to add before we get into our bets?
No, the one thing I'll say is I hope people got on Cincinnati to win the AFC North because they're minus 195 now after they won and Baltimore lost last week. Um, Still likely going to come down to the final game of the year where it's Baltimore and Cincinnati playing at Cincy. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good that I was able to get some money down on that at plus 125 2 weeks ago.
It's crazy that the Ravens are still a 9-win team because I don't know how they are still in it because they're not very good, but they find
Hmm.
ways to, I guess earlier in the season, they just found ways to win. They still are they're sneaking through games where you think they should win by more. They're having quarterback trouble. So, but they're a playoff team right now, and it looks like they're going to be,
Yeah.
unless something crazy happens this last 3 weeks. So, um, yeah, Ravens are a team that I completely get washed under the rug, but yeah, they're a playoff team, and with Lamar back, they can battle with anyone. But yeah,
Yeah.
nice on the Bengals. They've won their last 6 games now. Currently sitting at 10-4 atop the AFC North. Joe Burrow's looking good. I just love that guy. He's just he's just an icon. He's young. He's a great quarterback. I just like how he represents himself. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can do something in the postseason because him at the Super Bowl last year I thought was a got a lot of news stuff and a lot of fans going around him, and I do like the Bengals. I'm happy they got rid of Burfict or whatever his name was, that middle linebacker, because
Yep.
I think he was really ruining that organization. But I'm a Bengals fan. I'm a Joe Burrow fan, more importantly. But yeah, congratulations on that. Hopefully they can squeeze that one out the last 3 weeks. All right. So getting into our bets, again, we do 5 bets on this show. Last week was our first ever profitable week between the two of us, which is not very good, but it's improvement from the week prior. So we are both 3 out of 5 last week, so just over 60%. And what we do is we take a money line or a most confident, an over under, an underdog, and then we take a favorite. I have a new idea for the favorite here. Let me
Okay.
know what you think about it. So obviously, like a 14-point Chiefs favorite is not very respectable, right? So what if we do like if it's over? I don't know. We can figure out the threshold, but if it's over like a 5-point or a 4-point favorite, then you have to take the spread.
Okay.
Is there a number that you want to do there, like 4 or 5?
Um, yeah, we could just do like if the money line is over minus 200 or something.
Okay, okay, money line over 200. I like that. And then
Yeah,
if
this
not,
week
you have
was
to take the
tough.
spread, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this week was tough, I thought, with favorites.
Yeah, which is why I kind of did something different on that one.
Okay.
which we'll get into because originally it's just an obvious bet, at least in my mind. So okay, I will start. Actually, you can start because I always start with my most confident. What's your most confident bet of the weekend?
All right, so I've not been too good with these most confidence as of late. Um, you know, you would think we'd be winning the most confident and the favorite almost every week, and of course, those are the two that I lost last week. So I take that with a grain of salt. I actually don't have one written down. I was gonna try to figure it out throughout the show, so I think I'm just gonna go with that teaser I gave out: Las Vegas plus 8.5, LA Rams plus 8.5. Think that one. The teasers haven't been great to me as of late, but I think that one gets there finally.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I'll be on that. I don't know how much money I'll put on it, but I do really like that play. Only thing that's questioning me now is that stupid Nickelodeon game, and if Russell Wilson decides to go off.
I know.
But I don't think that'll happen. My most confident, we didn't talk about this one at all. There's definitely some injury stuff on it. I didn't even care to look. I'm just going to take the over of Buffalo, Chicago is currently at 40.5. Obviously they know something that I don't. It's probably the weather in Chicago is going to be shitty. I'm guessing that's probably Fields is a little banged up as well. Because it's just a really low under for two. The Buffaloes can score on anyone, and then Fields just adds offensive firepower to any game. So I like the over of that 40.5. I think the Bills can throw up 34 themselves. If the Bears can just get a touchdown, then that's a winner.
Yeah, I like that
Um,
play. I was really thrown off by that low total as well.
yeah, something's wrong. It's probably weather related since it is at Soldier, but yeah, there's probably injury report that I just don't know about or something. But I'm just going to take the over. I don't believe in weather this week, so I'm making a stand against weather.
Love it.
That is my official statement. All right, I'll go next with my over. I'm going to go Nickelodeon game, taking the over of Denver and the Rams at 36.5. I liked this before I knew that it was the Nickelodeon game. And this is just a game that if Russell plays, he's going to get up for. It's just such a Russell thing to do. So I like the over of that 36.5.
All righty. My over is going to be, which you kind of made me nervous about it, but I still like it. I'm gonna go Green Bay, Miami over 49.5. I believe it's the highest total on the board this week, but all I know is there's not going to be snow down in Miami, so at least I don't have to worry about that.
Solid play. Yeah, it's again, we talk about it a lot. The highest over and the highest point total and the lowest point total. We both really like taking the overs on those and the under on the lowest. So I do like that play. I think there's gonna be a lot of scoring. I think I was on the under on that. So I'll probably be I don't have any money on it currently, but yeah, I did say the under earlier on the show. But yeah, we'll see what happens. What was that, 49.5?
49.5.
Okay. All right, actually I'll let you go next. You're under for the weekend.
All right. So I actually just changed it. I will say I was on Denver, LA under, but I think when we were talking about the game, you kind of did talk me out of that. And the whole Russell Wilson thing. I mean, this is his Super Bowl. He probably prepares more for this game than he's prepared for the Super Bowls he's played in. So I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna go Detroit, Carolina under 43.5. Um, feel pretty confident about that play.
Detroit, Carolina under 43.5.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, all right. Looking at my under right now. I don't love it, but I'm gonna stay with it. I didn't realize I had it twice. Or have this game twice, but whatever. So my under is gonna be the Commanders, San Francisco under 38. I think Commanders are gonna be a little bit of trouble. 49ers, I think, are gonna continue to do their thing, but I could see this being like a 20-13 game. With the command or a San Fran win. So I'm gonna take the under in that. Hopefully it hits. I don't love it. It's definitely my least favorite out of the five.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's yeah, just I could see it going either way.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Obviously there's no weather over in San Fran, so that's not gonna affect anyone.
Right.
38 is just low, but I don't know. I'm trusting that San Fran, that earlier game this year, they won 13-3. I forget who was against, but
New Orleans,
hopefully
I
it'll be
think.
hopefully it'll be a game like that. All right, my dog. It might be similar to yours. I'm just going to take the Raiders money line. They're plus 115 versus the Steelers. I just think it's a good play. I don't know why the Steelers are favorited. Raiders are just too good offensively to not win that game, which makes it even more like that teaser you have.
Yeah, I like that play. Um, I am going to go. I don't love having the same game twice in the 5 bets, but can't help myself. I'm gonna go Green Bay plus 175. I think they looked pretty good. I know it was only against the Rams, but I think their offense was clicking. It looked like they're actually kind of having some fun out there. So I'm gonna keep the winning going in Green Bay. I think Miami keeps the losing going.
Okay, I like that. Hopefully for Detroit, you're wrong because there's nothing
Hopefully.
scarier than playing a Rodgers that's amped up. But I like that. Miami again, as we said, 3 game losing streak, so they're not playing really good ball right now. Green Bay, solid win. They're still sort of alive. I'm not sure their exact percentage of making the playoff, but they are alive. They're not eliminated yet. So yeah, there's nothing scarier than Aaron Rodgers with momentum. So they do
Hmm.
have that right now, and I think they could take advantage of a sleepy Miami team. Um, so my favorite is going to be, or the team that's expected to win. This is why I asked earlier about the new favorite rule, but I'm going to take San Francisco -7. So I'm taking their spread. I believe their money line is over -200. So I'm going to take San Fran -7 as my favorite. I just think they're going to win this game. I'm hoping for like a 13-3 similar type of game where they win by 10, win by 13, something like that, where the under also hits. So I know I have my favorite and my under in the same game, but I think San Fran's going to win this game. They are in my parlay, my money line parlay between San Fran and the Bucks. So hopefully they can just cover that 7 points.
Yeah, I like that. I think that probably gets there for sure. Um, so the one I have written down right at -200.
That's
Um,
fine.
okay. So yeah, you're probably gonna want to lay 2 units on this or even three. It is a little juicy, but hey, I need a win where I can get them here. So I'm just gonna give out Dallas -200. Like I said, I got it -110 earlier, but I still think they get the job done. Can't touch the spread with all the fishiness going on with Hurts and the quarterback spot, but I think Dallas still gets the outright win.
Yeah, we'll give that one to you because you were all over them, as you said, a month or two back in this game. So unfortunate for the Eagles with the Hurts injury, but yeah, there's no question there. I'll give that one to you. Dallas -200, especially that he got it as the app as a dog. I think that's fair game. Yeah, so again, we talked earlier before the show. I'm not very confident in mine this week like I was last week, which could mean a good thing because I've had weeks where I was very, very confident and went 1 for 4. So hopefully, something changes, or maybe these bets I like a little bit more. But mine, I'm not super confident in. I do like a couple of year plays. That teaser for your most confident, I absolutely love. I'll probably lock that in as soon as we get off today, just to have that for the weekend before anything drastic changes.
Hmm.
But I really do like that teaser.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can keep riding the momentum. The NFL handicapping is getting pretty tough for me, honestly, because I am a huge spot better and without buys and with some of the games wrapping up here, it's a lot of divisional games. Kind of tough to find good spots. So it's a lot of the eye test at this point for me. So don't feel as confident, like you said, but that could help. I mean, when I was confident, I wasn't winning. So
Yeah. And hopefully we can continue our momentum. We do have to figure out our challenge game this week.
yep.
Um, and again, give us updates on challenge ideas. I do have the chip that I will do if I lose next week. But what are you thinking for this challenge? There's a lot of games we didn't talk about. There's a couple we disagreed on, which I don't fully remember at the moment.
What do you think about have you dug at all into Cincinnati, New England?
A little bit. What do you like in that one? I was 1 second. Let me pull it up before I get your opinion on it.
Okay.
Um, that was one that I saw, and I have no idea what directions that's gonna go.
Okay.
It's a weird line. I'll give you that. It's definitely a trap line. I really want to take Bengals -3. But I have a feeling that the +3 for the Patriots is going to be the winner.
Yeah.
Which side were you leaning on that?
I would lean New England. Kind of the same way I've been with Tampa. I just keep fading Cincinnati, just thinking it's going to get better. Hasn't yet, but I do think this is the week. Yeah, sounds like we might both kind of like New England there.
Okay.
Um,
I I mean I love the Bengals. It's just a weird line. Another weird line is that Titans Texans game. Um,
yeah,
I know we don't bet Titans, so I'll keep that one up. But why is Tennessee only a 4-point favorite?
right,
That's at home. That's a weird one. Saints Browns is gross. Um, that's also a fishy line. Browns only a 2.5-point favorite.
right.
Falcons Ravens. I'm assuming Lamar's back because the spread is 7.5.
Yep, that one's weird. What about Buffalo Chicago? Do you have any feeling on that? It's a 9-point favorite, I think, for
Niner.
Buffalo.
I have the over. God, I got screwed by Chicago. I want to take Chicago +8.5 in
Okay,
that one, or 9 or
yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah, that's where I'd be too.
Um,
Um,
you know, I
there was that
I could do
total we
I could do
touched on.
Bengals, man. I could take the Bengals spread.
Okay, if you want to, I will take the Patriots, or there was that total we had talked about very early in the show. I can't even remember now what it was.
I think it was that Nickelodeon game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, either one of those, I guess
Okay. I'll take Cincy -3, and you're taking the Pats +3
cool.
at home. God damn it. Okay. Pats +3. I'm Cincy -3, both 110. Loser of that will do the challenge next week. I will go on paper right now. And I'll be doing the chip next week if I do lose. So hopefully Joe Burrow and the Bengals win this one. And then we'll have to figure out something for Ethan if he loses. So give us ideas on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, because we're desperate for them. And if it's something that we can do, we'll 100% do it if
Yep.
it's appropriate for air. So, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the show. Merry Christmas. Have a safe travel, safe time with all your families and friends. Ethan, you as well. I'm sure we'll talk before the holidays and maybe we'll see each other when we're back in town. But
Yep.
thanks for coming on, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks as always for having me. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, everybody. And let's have another profitable week.
For sure. See you guys.
See ya.